Please start.
Don't start. Okay, slide on. No, this one does not have as many videos. I thought that assessment of progress was to be done first rather than counseling, and if you look at through your program it comes as, oops, why is she presenting that first? But the point is that unless you're able to assess progress pre-implant, you won't be able to assess progress post-implant. And it's after all the child that we're talking about. This is not something that pehle aise tha, pehle baad mein waise tha. So it's not case number, it's not body number, it's not implant number, it's my child. So again I go on to, initially I'm not talking about counseling for a CI, I'm talking about counseling and expectations in general. What do we expect? Okay, so what is the meaning of expectation and what is the meaning of counseling first? So expectation, these are from the dictionary, to regard as likely. So when a parent comes to you, they come with expectations. They don't just come to you just like that. So they come with expectations. They look for something that is appropriate or what is due to them. And they anticipate that there will be a change that will come about. What is counseling? Counseling helps to better understand your child, to make informed decisions, and to guide them to articulate their expectations. At the first meeting that we have with parents, we talk to them and we ask them first, what is it that they have come to us for? What do they want from us? And what are their expectations for their child? It's only then that we can start ahead, working ahead. So who are the core members? It's of course the family and the child, along with the audiologist and rehabilitationist, the counselor, social worker. So first of all, we look at expectations of the center of itself. So what am I looking to deliver to the families that come to me? Am I just here just because this is my profession and I'm supposed to have some people come in and they come in and they go and come in and they go? Or do I have expectations of what my job responsibilities are? What expectations does the family have from the center? What expectations does the center have from the family and the child? And what expectations does the family have from the child? So the first thing that we have to see is that do our expectations match? Do we want the same things from the child? We meaning the parents as well as the rehabilitationists or the audiologists, the professionals at the center. Do we want to use the same method? Do we want the same ultimate goal, that is spoken communication? At our center, when a child comes in, after the parents have spoken to us, we tell them our way of functioning. That these are the things that we expect out of you in terms of audiology. We would require to do this in terms of rehabilitation, and what the methodology that we use at our center, and that there are other methods for teaching children with a hearing loss. Because at a later point in time, if we find that they are not suitable for auditory verbal, for whatever the reason be, say if there is an absent nerve, there is no hearing, or there are some other issues and the child cannot be implanted, and the hearing aids don't bring them into the auditory, into the speech area, auditory verbal is not for them. So at that point in time, the parents find it very difficult to accept that, okay, I have to try another methodology, maybe oral, maybe just lip reading alone, maybe signs. So it's very important that you let them know that there are various methodologies, and the only methodology chosen at this center is this. So the center of itself, first of all, we expect that we work with the family and the child as a whole. We don't work with the hearing loss in isolation, because the child is a child first. With the hearing loss, yes, but the child has the same temper tantrums, has the same wants, needs, desires as any other child his or her age. To be able to deliver a comprehensive service, if you can't do that at your center, then you have to refer to other centers where you can get the services and offer what is needed for each family. You must provide unbiased information. And again, I stress that if we don't know something, tell the parent, I don't know, I'll get back to you, or refer them to a place where they can get the information, or find out the information and then get back to them. But please don't say anything because the parent has asked you and because we're supposed to be God and we're supposed to know everything. We aren't, we are humans. Be ethical, honest, and ethical is really, really important. Treat these children as you would if your child had a hearing loss. Who would you be able to go to? Would you treat them the same way that you do treat these other children who come into your center? Or would you have a difference? You know, there should be no difference ideally between export quality and what is meant for India. So it's the same thing. How you would treat your own child, that is how you treat somebody else's child. Help the family set realistic expectations and goals for their child within a set time frame. He can't come to your center year after year after year doing the same thing, same thing, same thing. Work as partners with the family in a trusting and non-threatening informal environment. We are all very quick to point fault at others, but it's very difficult to praise. And if you're criticized all the time, I do not want to see your face again. I mean, if you have somebody at your house who keeps telling you, अरे ऐसे नहीं करो, इसको ऐसे डालो, पहले ये मसाला डालो, पहले ये करो, पहले वो करो. You tell them, hello, give me some time at least, just to breathe. So it's the same thing with the child. It's the same thing with the family. These parents, as it is, have got enough to handle than for us to be handing out sermons. And the way that I look at it is, I do not have a child with a hearing loss. So I cannot even begin to understand what they are going through. So don't pretend to understand what they are going through, because you'll never know it until we have a child with a hearing loss. So they come from a different situation. Understand that, please. What does the family expect from the center? To set goals, short term and long term. And long term, what is the goal? Every meeting that we've had with the parent and the first session that they have come to meet with us, what do you want from your child? मेरा बच्चा बस उसको सुनना आना चाहिए और बात करना आना चाहिए, उसको दूसरे बच्चे लोग की तरह होना चाहिए. Can you tell it? Can you tell them that yes, that will be possible? We don't have a crystal ball. Allow parents and family to be equal partners. They want that too, but do we give them the right? Very often when parents ask us questions, they say, मैं therapist की तुम क्यों मेरे को पूछ रही, फिर मेरे को मालूम है ना, मैं help कर रही हूँ ना. What is that? It's their child. Excuse me. Guidance for follow-up. Help manage their daily routines and other family issues. This is beautiful because we work with young babies. So those mothers come in and forever they're feeding them milk and milk and milk and milk, and I wonder if I mean, is there anything else that they give to the children? And this is from a point of view of speech, also pre-speech behaviors. If the child is only used to keeping their tongue in one place, where is the speech going to come in? Because all I have to do is the easiest. But what about moving food from one side to the other? So that's very important. In terms of sleep, हाँ, 1 साल का बच्चा वैसे सब नॉर्मल है, टीवी पीवी सब देखता है, हाँ, टीवी. So I mean, you have 9-month-old, बिठा दिया उधर टीवी के सामने, खिला जाओ, मेरा बच्चा गोलो मोलो अच्छा होना चाहिए. So you just keep feeding without conversation. The TV is there in front, and we do that with normal hearing children. So what about children with a hearing loss? The third thing is, कितने बजे सोता है? 12 बजे तक. मैं बहुत परेशान हो जाती हूँ, पर 12 बजे तक सोता है. So the routine is very important because the child sleeps at 12 and you're calling them for a 9 o'clock session in the morning, and they have to travel about 1 hour to come to your center. The child has not had enough sleep, and then we say this child is always very uncooperative. Poor thing, he's got parents who don't know how to handle to bring up a child. Unfortunately, that is something that we all learn by trial and error, but we have to be able to guide them towards that. Monitor progress in a quantifiable manner. I hope that every time that you guys use the word well, quite good, we'll think about it. In specifics, can I say something from the last time to this time? Information sharing. Update them on technological advancements. Preparation for the mainstream. That's what they want you to do because they've come to you with that expectation. And guidance regarding school placement. Please understand that if you do periodic evaluations, the parents have a fair idea of whether their child can be mainstream or not. One day suddenly you pop the thing on them and say, हाँ तो हम उसको special school में डालेंगे. Come again? What was that? Where did that come up from? Because if you keep evaluating them, the parents are aware of where the child is and whether the child is plateauing or is moving ahead, can do with hearing aids, cannot do with hearing aids. So that is why assessments are important. What does the center expect from the family and the child? We want them to be parents, to be a family, to enjoy their child, not be teachers, just be parents. वो भूल जाते हैं, they alienate themselves from the child because they think of the child as their child, hearing impaired child, not child with a hearing loss. So they alienate themselves, they don't know, they think that because we create these artificial situations at the center, they think they have to talk to their children in that manner. And that's the only thing that will get them to go, and they just imitate what you are doing. And they forget that the child will have the same needs, demands, everything. Punctual presence on designated appointments for rehabilitation, audiology and counselling. Very often when we talk with our colleagues, we say, you know, this particular family, I'm fed up, yeah. They just don't come on time, and every time it is so-and-so ki shadi, so-and-so ka operation, so-and-so ka ye, so-and-so ka wo. It may be that the child is not actually progressing and the parent does not see the need to come to the center. Every time the child is faced with failure, because every time you tell, you know, it's our body language that shows very well. You nod your head and you say, अच्छा नहीं किया, ये नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ. And because we are doing that, they think that the child has to perform all the time. So it may be an escape for them. So unless the parents realize what it will cost them and their child, they come to the center for their child. They don't come because Geeti will shout or Shefali will shout or somebody else will shout. I hope not. Because we are not policewomen or policemen out here. They are doing it for their child. They must understand the goals and targets and to follow why they were chosen. Now, we cannot throw technical jargon at them. We have to make them understand in layman's terms, because that further alienates them that, oh, I don't remember this term or I don't remember that term. And they must follow up with other members of our multidisciplinary team, as Fatima said in her presentation, when they have multiple needs. Sometimes when we feel that when we are testing a child, for example, that 5-month-old baby, he was not in the beginning age appropriate that we were finding in terms of his motoric, and we had to refer them to a neurologist, and then who in turn referred them to a physiotherapist. But the parents have to be willing to go, and you have to also understand that it takes time, because the parent has first got the shock of my child is deaf. Next, you tell them that your child requires physiotherapy. Next, you tell them that they need a visual evaluation, evaluation of the vision. So what are you doing? So the way that you talk to them is extremely important for them to follow up. But they need to follow up, because otherwise your hands are tied. What does the family expect from the child? Yes, if they know what the routine should be for a young baby, then they expect the child to follow that routine. First, because the center tells them that no, they will have no other way. And then when they start seeing the benefits, they start implementing that from their heart. To progress at the rate as indicated by the center, via the 90-day plans that I spoke about in my previous presentation, to progress as a parent's desire. They may want something else that you may not have pinpointed. And sometimes parents tell you, sometimes they don't. To be like other children is what they really want. To be able to enter a vocation of their choice, to be independent contributing members of society. That's what parents want. So are we raising a generation of children like that? Or are we raising a generation of children who are neither with the deaf or neither with the hearing world? So what are we doing? So that's a responsibility that we need to think about. We need to be able to answer questions about why we are doing what we are doing with the child or with the family. Now, in terms of, this is from Shepherd Center, it says, am I ready for school? I have changed it. I know my colors, I can recite the alphabet, I can have my initial sounds, I can count, I can play well, I can dress and all of that. Now, this may be okay to begin with, but is this going to carry them through? Life is not about counting only. Life is about communicating, expressing your wants, needs, desires, being able to say, sorry, I didn't understand, or being able to say that, okay, what was the next instruction that was given, to be able to follow all of that. And unfortunately, in the hearing world, it is dependent on hearing. So again, it comes back to access to hearing. So if the child is not able to achieve even something as low level as this via hearing aids, that's where the cochlear implant comes in. After, of course, all the evaluations have been done. So you just don't implant a child just because the child wasn't doing something. Okay? It is a complete, thorough evaluation. So we have counseling for the CI, because why? It ensures better follow-up, more realistic expectations, because whatever it is, in India or anywhere else, if I am paying 5 lakhs to 9 lakhs 48,000, man, I want the results. So the audiologist can talk her head off, the teacher can say whatever they want, the ENT can say whatever they want. I know, मैंने 10 लाख का डिवाइस खरीदा है, बात कैसे नहीं करेगा वो? करेगा ही. So that is your expectation, the parents' expectation. So you have to guide them. And if you have done pre-implant, you have been telling them about how they are behaving and how they are hearing and what they are doing, they will have better expectations post-implant. They will be able to have more realistic expectations. So we give them information, and this is for each family. Basic information about the implant, pre-surgery, at the time of surgery, post-surgery, pre-switch on, that is the device orientation. Now this really means changing course in terms of how the child hears. So in terms of counseling, for basic information, we give them information about why does my child need cochlear implant surgery. And you won't have to really spell it out if the parent has been part of the process of coming up to the implant point. What can I expect from my child who is cochlear implanted? That is of course dependent on age of intervention, and if the child is a late implantee. We have, at my center we have experience only with young babies. So what is a cochlear implant? Do they know what it is? नहीं, और डॉक्टर बोले वो इम्प्लांट बिठाएंगे तो हो जाएगा. And parents really are looking for a solution. They are really looking for a solution. So it's not something that we can laugh about. They don't even know that there is something that is internal and that there will be something external. And it will be bigger than a behind the ear hearing aid or a body worn hearing aid. They don't even know that. and they're ready to put the child under the scalpel. How is a CI different from a hearing aid? And Rajesh went through his presentation on that. And what are the risks? Everything has its pros and cons. I don't know this is here. Yeah, it shows, looks like. This is basic where we have go through with each family. No. Hang on, only. It's not showing on. Can I put in my pen drive? I'm extremely sorry, but it was working today at lunchtime. It was working yesterday when I checked. So I'm really sorry for this. Open it from there.
जास्त करून बेटर एज काय आहे जे आम्ही सांगितलेले आहे की फर्स्ट 2 years इज बेस्ट फॉर इम्प्लांट 3 to 5 years इज ओके फॉर
In this clip, I asked the parents, so why do you want an implant? And he looks at me like, are you an idiot to ask me this kind of a question? And you just see the father's expression in this.
तुमच्या मनात काय आहे? आम्ही सांगितलं म्हणून तुम्हाला ऐकायला सांगितलं
नाही. एक ऐकणे म्हणजे ती जास्त पण लिटरिंगवरच करते. ऐकून म्हणजे जेवढं करत नाही, त्यामुळे तिला ऐकायला पाहिजे म्हणूनच इम्प्लांट करतो.
बरं. ऐकून
म्हणजे नॉर्मल बोले वगैरे नॉर्मल काय
का लिप रिडिंग करणं नाही वाटत की होईल तसं की का वाटतं?
लिप रिडिंग करणं तेवढं नाही, 2-3 बोलल्यानंतर येतं
आणि मेन ऐकून कशाला? ऐकून कशाला?
ऐकून नॉर्मल शाळेत वगैरे जाऊन वगैरे नॉर्मल लाईफ मध्ये.
कारण ऐकून भाषा शिकणं
सोपं
सोपं नैसर्गिक आहे त्या हिशोबाने.
Counseling pre-surgery includes a detailed evaluation consisting of the complete battery of audiological tests, educational and speech language tests. And as you saw that the 1-year 9-month-old also could be tested. And he was imitating 6 sounds at that age. So definitely he was detecting 6 sounds earlier than that. Developmental tests, that is where the neurologist or the pediatric neurodevelopmental pediatrician comes in the picture. Medical tests including all your blood, urine, vaccines, CT, MRIs, everything. Preparation for surgery. We also prepare the children as well as the parents for surgery. What are the hospital formalities and procedures? This is where we were talking to her about the implant.
సర్టిఫికెట్ బిఎన్ పెట్టించుకోవడానికి వెళ్ళారా? పేపర్ తీసుకెళ్ళారా? అదేం రాలేదా? మరి
ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ ఇచ్చాను. బిఎన్ లేకపోతే నాకు కుదరదు.
This was about 10-15 days before her surgery.
व्यवस्थित आहे का? व्यवस्थित वाटतं. तुम्हाला काय वाटतं? व्यवस्थित आहे. व्यवस्थित आहे तुला?
बघू. व्यवस्थित
व्यवस्थित आहे ना?
This this is preparing them for surgery. You can't eat.
रमणं मिळणार नाही. हं? आई बाबा ती सकाळी काय घेते? चहा. ओहो. बिस्किट मिळणार नाही. आणखी काय? काय होणार? पाणी नाही अजिबात नाही. केळं पण नाही. भात हे भात आहे. भात तू खाऊ शकते? नाही आई अजिबात नाही. पाव पण नाही. बघूया पाणी पण नाही.
This is the kind of preparation that goes in prior to surgery. And this is for each child. Then there is counseling during and post surgery, and generally a person from our center is there with the family on the day of the surgery. That may not be possible for larger centers. We are a relatively very small center. How long will my child be in the OT? Is there any evaluation done to help us know if the electrodes are working? How will my child be post surgery? Will my child be able to eat? Because generally the parents also fast, and we have to tell them that Baba, don't fast because you have to look after the child after that. If you fall, who's going to look after? What precautions do we take? When will the bandage be removed? These are all elementary questions, and you think, समझ में आना चाहिए यार, but they don't understand it. You have to tell them, and they have to also answer their other family members. We prepare not only the child himself or herself, but the siblings, the family, who want to be a part of it. Counseling about device orientation, that is about 10 to 15 days prior to the switch on. Parts of the device and the operation of the device. So we don't give them their device, it comes to us and we operate that, and we show them how to turn it on, off, lock it, change programs, change volume, change sensitivity, care and maintenance of the device, daily listening check, and what could be the response of the child on switch on. Parents expect something dramatic to happen, and sometimes you have a child just sit there. And you're wondering, is this what I paid all the money for? The child is still sitting there, there's no dramatic change. And switch on is not like a bulb. If you switch it on and everything happens, voila, it's there. And also we give them a dummy implant. So all our children get a dummy implant which they wear from that time on at the center itself. Because then you don't have parents saying, that does not happen. The child really wears it. And then, as I said earlier, that we just exchange on the day of switch on. So in conclusion, the cochlear implant is not a miracle device. It has to still interact with the human being, and that human being has to interact with the other human beings.
Sure.
This sophisticated device gives young babies and children an opportunity to develop early and age-appropriate listening, speech-language skills. It opens up the world of sound and communication. But what is then the take-home message? First of all, you have to choose your candidate carefully. Make sure that you go through all the evaluations. And a consensus document is there with the Cochlear Implant Group of India. You can get access to that. I think you can ask Rajesh or Nishita about it as to where you can get your hands on it. It has all the details for rehabilitation, for audiology, for surgery, everything. Family must make an informed decision so that later on they don't come and tell you. And they have to be happy with the choice that they make for their child. They have to be satisfied. Guidance for audiology and rehabilitation of the family in the pre-implant period is crucial, is absolutely crucial. Habilitation is what brings meaning to this new world of sound. As Geeta said, that you have the car minus the keys. This is the key to outcomes. This is the key. And there is definitely a partnership between the family, the ENT surgeon, his team, audiologist, habilitationist, and the counselor. So, thank you. Hey Nai, Biscuit Nai, Chocolate Nai, Hey Nai. It's part of a book that we have made up for parents. It's called Changing Course, and the cover that you saw is called Changing Course. It's basically a total full information booklet that we have made for parents. So the parents at our center get it free because they are from our center. And for parents, otherwise the rate is 100, but for professionals it is 250. Yeah. So the book is available, and I think if you got our website address, the only thing is that it has pictures of the implant, but because our children are only nucleus implantees, it has pictures of the internal and external only of the nucleus. So I did not bring it because I didn't want you guys to think that okay, this is some kind of propagation of one particular company or something. It's not like that. It's just that the children at our center are mainly nucleus users as of now. So as the parents choose for another implant, and that decision was by the parents, not by us. So as the parents choose for another implant, then it's a spiral bound book, so we would incorporate the photographs of other centers. But otherwise, everything else is uniform. So if you like, you can contact the center. Right now we are closed till the 7th of January. For Christmas.
Can you repeat your website?
It's info@ihearfoundation.org. info@ihear foundation. info at ihearfoundation.org. My website is www.ihearfoundation.org. And whether it's Shefali or it's me, our thing is just geetichar@naadcenter.org. Naad is the center, iHear Foundation is the trust. So it's GEETICHAR@naadcenter.org. Yeah? Thank you.
Good evening.